let's go. Hey.
I remember Marvin Gaye used to sing to me. Had me feeling like that was a thing to be. James Brown.
No one can make an intelligent decision without being properly informed. This is why this world wants to control the media. This is why media hype can take you up, take you down. So you don't know anymore who's really good, because the media can make a wicked man look good and make a good man look evil. That is why.
I can't quit. I'm like Saddam, keeping my eye on Clinton, watching each movie he make. Cause every slither he takes sort of reminds.
Good evening. You are watching a special edition of the Final Call News Hour, a Saviours Day edition of the Final Call News Hour. I'm your host, Herman Muhammad, and the Final Call News Hour is the partner of the Final Call newspaper, which you can visit at www.finalcall.com. It also is the communications organ of the Nation of Islam, and I'm happy to announce, as we announced last program, that you can get the Final Call digitally at www.digital.finalcall.com. So if you're unable to get a printed edition, please go to that site and pick up the digital edition. Now we have a wonderful Saviours Day edition of the Final Call News Hour scheduled for you today. So we're coming out of two issues. The first one being volume number 33, issue number 20, which reads, "How strong is our foundation? Can we survive?" Saviours Day 2014. And the issue that came directly right after that is volume number 33, issue number 21, which reads, "Can we survive? Black America's survival hinges on uniting now in the face of unparalleled danger and challenges from inside and outside the community," warns Minister Farrakhan. "Failure to act will bring death, but heeding divine warning will bring independence and salvation," says Minister Farrakhan to 19,000 during Saviours Day message in Detroit. A very, very powerful edition of the Final Call newspaper, both of those editions, and a very, very, we hopefully, impactful and powerful edition of the Final Call News Hour today. Again, I'm your man Herman Muhammad, and what we wanted to talk about in regards to Saviours Day, for all of those who don't know what it is, and let me just wish you all a very happy Saviours Day. Saviours Day is the commemoration of the birth date of our Savior, who was born on February the 26th, 1877 in the holy city Mecca. His name is Master Farad Muhammad. When he came amongst us, he called himself W.D. Farad, but after teaching for 3.5 years in the city of Detroit in a section called Black Bottom, W.D. Farad told his star student, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who he had taught for that 3.5 years straight, that his name was W.F. Muhammad, or Wali Farad Muhammad, the long-awaited Mahdi of the Muslims and the long-awaited Messiah of the Christians and the Jews. And so as a result, every February the 26th, on the anniversary of his birth, we celebrate what is known as Saviours Day. And this particular edition of the Final Call, which you can pick up, that volume number 33, issue number 20, is really a collector's edition. It's a souvenir edition of the Final Call newspaper, and really breaks down the history of the Nation of Islam, the history of Master Farad, the history of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and of course the history of our illustrious beloved minister, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who is sitting in the seat of the Father while the Father is away. And that Father, of course, I'm referring to is the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And so this Saviours Day was very powerful because we went back to Detroit. Saviours Day most times is held in Chicago, which is the headquarters of the Nation of Islam. But for this commemoration of the Saviours Day celebration, we went to Detroit, where the Nation of Islam was founded. And I'm going to read a little something out of the Final Call newspaper, which I just stated, but I want to reiterate it in the words of the paper. What is Saviours Day? Saviours Day is an annual Nation of Islam commemoration of the birth of Master Farad Muhammad, the great Mahdi of the Muslims and Messiah of the Christians, who appeared in North America on July 4th, 1930, and declared that the 400 years of bondage blacks served in America had ended. His coming and declaration, and let me give you a picture of the Savior once again. His coming and declaration fulfills many scriptures. However, perhaps most notable is the fulfillment of the promise God made to Abraham that his descendants would endure bondage in a strange land among a strange people, before God himself would deliver Abraham's seed and judge the nation they served. Master Farad Muhammad was born February 26, 1877 in the holy city of Mecca. He raised and taught the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who dedicated over 40 years of his life to the resurrection of the mentally, morally, spiritually, and economically dead so-called American Negro. Each year he would convene Saviours Day and deliver a major address and expound on the divine wisdom given to him by Master Farad Muhammad. After the 1975 departure of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, in September of 1977, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan made the decision to rebuild the work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and reestablish the Nation of Islam. Under Minister Farrakhan's leadership, Saviours Day returned in 1981 in Chicago. In 1983, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan changed the spelling of the commemoration from Saviours Day, as it had been, to the plural Saviours Day. He explained during a message delivered in Gary, Indiana, that the change meant that not only was Master Farad Muhammad the savior for the black man and woman of America, but that the Muslims in the Nation of Islam had the mission of delivering the word and doing the work of resurrection as little saviors for the suffering masses of blacks in America and the suffering people around the world. And so every year, thousands of people attend the Saviours Day convention, where we have workshops that help to improve the condition of our people greatly, as well as the keynote address, which is delivered by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And so again, happy Saviours Day, and again, pick up these issues of the Final Call newspaper, because man, I can't say enough of how powerful these publications can be. So, Can We Survive is the next issue that we want to deal with. And let me say this about this commemorative edition. It's a $2 edition, but again, it's a souvenir edition, and it's almost like a little book. So you can come by at Supreme Style Barbers and pick that up. Very powerful edition of the Final Call newspaper, and something that you want to keep in your library. Let me see what else I could touch on in this paper before we move on to it. it just has all of the events of Saviours Day. It has the history of, like I said, Master Farah Muhammad, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Nation of Islam in general, current events like the weather that's we've been experiencing all over the country, which is really God or Allah's severe chastisement. So it's a very powerful edition and very well worth picking it up. So pick that up as soon as you can, and you can pick that up at the greatest barbershop in the land. Let me plug that real quick, which this program, the Final Call News Hour, is being brought to you by Supreme Style Barbershop. And we're located at 7520 East Colfax Avenue in Denver, Colorado. And I am the proprietor of that particular business, your man Herman Muhammad. So definitely stop by and pick up the latest edition of the Final Call newspaper. Saviours Day is this particular Saviours Day was very powerful because what we were dealing with, basically, the title of the subject that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan delivered was, "How strong is the foundation? Can we survive?" And what the minister did was he asked us the question of how strong is our foundation. And what he did, and it's important, was he brought, and you can see it in the picture here, he brought all of these historical figures and introduced them within the content of his lecture. You got W.E.B. Du Bois, you got Frederick Douglass, you got the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, you got Booker T. Washington, Noble Drew Ali, you got Malcolm X, Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. You have all of these wonderful leaders that we're standing on the shoulders of. You got Ida B. Wells, you got Rosa Parks, you got Dr. Martin Luther King, and Minister Farrakhan, basically made it clear that all of these leaders that we're standing on their shoulders. But he also made it a point to let us know that each of these leaders wanted the same thing. They had a different way of going about making it happen, but each and every one of them wanted freedom, justice, and equality for our people. Each of them wanted economic independence for our people. Each and every one of them wanted freedom, justice, equality, love, happiness, peace, and understanding for all of our people, and they just had different ways of going about getting it. And so Minister Farrakhan was really saying, because we've betrayed what they all stood for, that now we have an opportunity and now we have an obligation to make that right. And when you really look at the history, we really have betrayed all that those leaders stood for and all that that they represented, because we have not carried on the work. We've gotten caught up into the foolishness of this world, but now it's time for us to set ourselves free and to be, and that starts really freeing our minds. That starts with freeing ourselves from the folk ways, the mores, the traditions, the ignorance of all that our slave masters and their children have exposed us to. And one of the ways that we can free ourselves is by participating in the economic blueprint of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And what that calls for is for 16 million of our people to donate 5 cents a day. And at the end of a year, we'll have $291 million. And the site that we want to donate that money to, and you can do that right now, is www.economicblueprint.org. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan also mentioned that this coming Sunday, and you're all invited to our study group to listen to the lecture and watch the webcast with us, that he'll be announcing where we are with regard to Muhammad's economic blueprint, which was launched in October, again, to really fulfill the economic needs of our people and to give us a start onto being independent. So definitely donate again to www.economicblueprint.org, and you could do that right now. As a matter of fact, you could jump off this broadcast and do that if you want to. Please do be my guest. But so very, very, very powerful edition of the Final Call, and very, very powerful Saviours Day. And if you did not catch the message, how strong is the foundation? Can we survive? You can log on to www.noi.org and watch Saviours Day. I advise you to do it. Do yourself a favor. You will not regret it. I guarantee you that. And we're running up out of time, but I just wanted to say before we get out of here that Saviours Day is really a celebration of our culture, and just introducing the nation of Islam, introducing the culture of Islam, and the supreme culture that Master Farad Muhammad gave us, the supreme culture that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad instilled in us, the supreme culture that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is continuing to teach and to advocate. And so we want all of our people to take part in Saviours Day festivities. Christmas, Easter, Valentine's, all these so-called holidays are not our holidays at all. They just the devil's way of making a bunch of money. But Saviours Day, we know that this man came for us. We know that this man came to seek and to save a lost and fallen people. So it's something that we should celebrate. And so I'm a huge advocate for Saviours Day, not just for Muslims in the Nation of Islam, but for all of our people and all oppressed people in general. So happy Saviours Day, February 26th. Every February 26th, celebrate Saviours Day and learn more about it. And there's so much that goes on at these conventions. Time would not permit me to say everything that happens, but one of them is our drill competition. In the Nation of Islam, we have a very military culture. We have captains, lieutenants, squad leaders. We have a military bearing about us, and it's because whenever you're military, you're organized. If you're going to be a nation, you have to have a military, and the military helps to move the nation forward. That's why so much money is dedicated towards the military in this country. There's a number of reasons why that is, but that's one of the reasons. You have to have a military to protect your nation. You have to have a military to move your nation forward with regards to being organized and moving in a collective, unified manner. And so part of our military is close order drill. And so I want to leave you all with just a little demonstration of the drill that we do in the Nation of Islam, and say to you again, if you want to stay in contact with me, go on to Facebook and like Supreme Style Barbershop, and you can friend me at, my name on Facebook is Herman Supreme Style Muhammad. On Twitter, follow me at Brother Herman, and on Instagram at Brother Herman as well. And that's, you just spell it out, Brother Herman. All right. So with that, again, as I always say, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Peace. Check out the drill. We'll see you next time. You've been watching the Final Call News Hour.
Commission to drill the Army of Allah, sir. Thank you, sir. Whether you know it or not, we at war. We at war right now. In this episode.
Exalted Christ and Messiah, burning devils up in the lake of fire. Farrakhan's going to the Father. Farrakhan's going to the Father. Farrakhan's going to the Father.
To come under the divine chastisement of God.
It's not a game, not even a war. Beyond rain, beyond storm, beyond Katrina. You ain't never seen a natural disaster with a meaner demeanor. Beyond danger,